It's barely 6 a.m., but the world already feels heavy. The alarm hums, not rings, as if even it is tired. You roll over, eyes half open, the room still gray with the last breath of night. Outside, a streetlight flickers, and for a moment you wonder if it's mocking the way your own energy sputters on and off. You've been doing everything right. Waking early, going for that run before breakfast, drinking water first thing. You even bought the expensive supplements, the ones promising metabolic support. And yet, you're still exhausted. Your reflection in the mirror tells a story that the scale can't. Puffy eyes, that dull fog behind them, the slight swelling around the waist that workouts can't explain. You breathe in, trying to summon the same drive you once had. But instead, what rises is a quiet question. Why isn't this working anymore? For years, we've been told a simple equation. Move more, eat less. Calories in, calories out. Work harder, sweat longer. If you don't lose weight, it's because you're not disciplined enough. But here, in this silence between your heartbeat and your breath, that story doesn't feel true anymore. You're doing the work, but your body feels like it's fighting back. Every run leaves you hungrier. Every healthy, low-fat meal leaves you craving something else an hour later. Every night ends with the same slow, sinking fatigue that no amount of sleep repairs. And quietly, beneath it all, something deeper is happening. Something invisible, yet powerful. Controlling your energy, your hunger, even the way your body stores fat. It isn't your willpower, it's your blood sugar. Inside every cell, glucose, sugar, is the body's preferred fuel. But like fire, it has to be managed carefully. Too little, and your brain slows down. Too much, and the flames burn out of control. That's where insulin steps in, the key that unlocks each cell, allowing glucose to enter and fuel life itself. But when insulin is triggered too often or for too long, something begins to break. Cells start to resist it. The pancreas works overtime, pumping out more and more insulin just to keep glucose in check. And the more insulin floods your system, the harder it becomes for your body to burn fat, no matter how hard you exercise. So even when you think you're doing everything right, even when you're pushing through that early morning workout, counting calories, or cutting carbs, if your blood sugar is unstable, your metabolism is still stuck in survival mode. That's the quiet trap so many of us fall into. We think we're chasing fitness, but what we're really chasing is balance, metabolic balance. Without it, your body spends the entire day firefighting. Every meal becomes a spike. Every crash becomes a craving. Energy rises and falls like a roller coaster, and your hormones ride with it. Cortisol, your stress hormone, surges to rescue falling glucose. Your appetite hormones, leptin and ghrelin, lose their rhythm, and soon hunger is no longer about nourishment. It's about survival. So you eat, you crash, you crave. You try harder the next day. Another workout, another promise, but you're running on fumes. And when the results don't come, the guilt creeps in. Maybe I'm lazy, maybe I'm broken, but you're not broken. You're just out of rhythm. The truth is, your metabolism isn't a math equation. It's a symphony of hormones, timing, and signals that rise and fall with the day. And exercise, as powerful as it is, plays only one instrument in that orchestra. Movement uses energy, yes, but if the rest of your body's signals are out of tune, that effort echoes into the void. Scientists now understand something that changes everything we thought we knew about weight loss. Exercise doesn't control your blood sugar. Your blood sugar controls how effective your exercise is. When your glucose levels are stable, your workouts transform. Your muscles absorb nutrients more efficiently. Your recovery accelerates. And your body begins to shift from storing fat to burning it. But when your glucose is unstable, when every meal sends it soaring, exercise becomes a patch, not a solution. It's like trying to row a boat while the tide pulls against you. No matter how strong your strokes, you're still being dragged backward. You remember last week, finishing that long cardio session, drenched in sweat, muscles trembling, and then, hours later, standing in the kitchen, spoon deep in a jar of peanut butter. You weren't hungry, not really, you were just empty. That's not weakness, that's biology. When glucose spikes, insulin follows. And when insulin floods, blood sugar crashes. Your body panics, craving quick energy to restore balance. That craving feels emotional, but it's chemical. It's your body's desperate whisper. Please, bring me back to balance. What if, instead of fighting that whisper, you learned to listen to it? In 2023, researchers began exploring how carb timing, not just what we eat, but when, could change metabolic outcomes. The findings were profound. 2 people could eat the exact same meal, the same oatmeal, the same banana, the same calories, and have completely different blood sugar responses depending on timing. Eat it after a walk, the glucose curve flattens. Eat it alone early in the morning when cortisol is still high, the curve spikes. Eat it after protein or fiber. It stabilizes. Timing, not just content, was shaping metabolism, guiding hormones, hunger, and energy throughout the day. And here's the deeper truth. Your body doesn't care how many calories you burn in the gym if your metabolic rhythm is off outside it. Because fat loss isn't about effort, it's about harmony. You start to notice it, the subtle rhythms your body's been trying to teach you all along. How you crash mid-morning after a sweet breakfast. How you feel steady when lunch includes greens and protein. How evening meals that end with a short walk calm your cravings instead of igniting them. It's not magic, it's physiology. And once you see it, really see it, you can't unsee it. The body you thought was failing you has been communicating this entire time. Every fatigue, every craving, every lazy afternoon, messages from a system out of sync. And now, finally, you're learning to listen. So as the morning light brightens and you tie your shoes for yet another workout, something feels different this time. You're not chasing punishment anymore. You're chasing balance. You're not fighting your body. You're learning its language. And for the first time in a long while, that feels like freedom. The next morning, you wake before the alarm. There's no rush, no self-punishment waiting in the silence. Just the gentle hum of a body beginning to remember how to feel safe. You don't head straight for the treadmill this time. Instead, you walk to the kitchen, open the fridge, and think differently. Not, what should I cut? But, what will keep me steady? A couple of eggs, a handful of spinach, olive oil, maybe some avocado. Simple, grounding. It's not glamorous, but it's the first time in years that breakfast feels like fuel instead of strategy. The first bite is slow, deliberate. You chew, and for a moment you feel not just full, but calm. That calm is what stable blood sugar feels like. When your glucose rises gradually and stays level, your body stops operating in crisis mode. Cortisol quiets down, insulin eases off, and your cells finally exhale. Ah, we're safe. This is the invisible line between energy and exhaustion, between craving and control. Most of us never experience it long enough to realize how different life feels when our internal chemistry stabilizes. Because for decades, we've built our mornings around the opposite. Orange juice, granola, cereal bars marketed as healthy, instant oatmeal with a swirl of honey and fruit, all of them designed to flood your bloodstream with sugar before the day has even begun. They feel wholesome, light, but beneath the surface, they trigger a surge so steep that your body spends hours trying to recover from it. And as it does, hunger, fatigue, and irritability follow. The crash isn't a lack of willpower. It's biology catching up to marketing. You might remember mornings like that. The sudden dip mid-meeting, the craving for something sweet after lunch, the feeling that you're always hungry. That wasn't your fault. Your metabolism was on a roller coaster it never signed up for. Exercise, meanwhile, was trying to help. But it couldn't fix what food kept on doing. Because no workout, no matter how intense, can stabilize a bloodstream that spikes and crashes all day long. It's like building a house on sand. You can lay the strongest foundation of effort, cardio, lifting, fasting, but if the ground beneath is shifting with every meal, the structure won't hold. Inside the body, something extraordinary happens when glucose stays stable. Mitochondria, the powerhouses in your cells, begin to switch from sugar burning to fat burning. Your muscles become metabolically flexible, learning to draw energy from stored fat instead of demanding constant sugar refills. Inflammation markers drop, cognitive clarity rises, your mood evens out because your brain finally isn't running on fumes. You become efficient, not just in movement, but in living. But that shift doesn't begin in the gym. It begins in the kitchen and in the timing of every meal that follows. Around day 4, you start to notice patterns. When you eat your carbs later in the day, after movement, after protein, you don't crash. You don't crave sugar at night. You even sleep better. It's subtle at first. A little less brain fog, a little more patience in traffic, but it's real. One evening, you take a slow walk after dinner. No headphones, no goal. Just the rhythm of steps and breath, the glow of city lights reflecting on the pavement. It feels quiet, almost too quiet, until you realize your heart isn't racing. Your mind isn't screaming for dessert. For once, you're not trying to escape your body. You're in it. That's the paradox few people talk about. We chase fitness to feel free, but we push our bodies so hard that freedom becomes another cage. True metabolic health, the kind that sustains energy and burns fat effortlessly, doesn't come from punishment. It comes from rhythm. From syncing your biology with what it's been asking for all along. Steady fuel, proper timing, and recovery that actually restores. Because the secret isn't in working harder, it's in working with your biology, not against it. When you eat carbs strategically, after exercise, or paired with protein and fiber, your glucose curve flattens. Insulin releases gently, not explosively. And the body reads that signal not as stress, but as stability. In that state, fat burning doesn't need to be forced. It becomes automatic. Insulin is more than a hormone. It's a messenger, a conductor orchestrating when the body stores and when it releases. Too much too often, and the orchestra plays chaos. Too little, and energy flickers out. But when you begin to respect its rhythm, when meals align with movement, when rest follows nourishment, when stress eases before sleep, the music changes. Everything inside you begins to move in time again. And that's when the transformation begins to show on the outside. Not as weight loss alone, but as lightness. The kind you feel when you wake without dread, when hunger feels simple, when food no longer owns your day. It's been a week now. 7 days of paying attention instead of pushing harder. You wake up and, for the first time in years, you don't feel heavy. There's a stillness, a quiet energy. You don't need coffee immediately. You move because it feels good, not because you have to. You look outside. The world feels softer, as if someone turned down the harsh light and replaced it with morning sun. You realize the world didn't change. You did. You've stopped fighting yourself. When exercise meets stable blood sugar, something incredible happens. Your muscles become insulin sensitive. Each contraction opens glucose channels, not because insulin forced them to, but because movement invited it. This means that when you eat afterward, your body absorbs nutrients with precision. Protein rebuilds. Carbs replenish glycogen, not fat stores. Your metabolism learns the difference between fuel and excess, and in that lesson lies freedom. Because you no longer eat to chase energy, you eat to support it. Most people spend their lives chasing more workouts, more restriction, more guilt disguised as motivation. But the truth is simpler, almost gentle. You don't need more. You need balance. You need meals that stabilize, movement that restores, and rest that regenerates. You need timing that respects your body's natural rhythm, not fights it. And when that rhythm returns, everything else, your waistline, your energy, even your mood, follows naturally. Think of all the mornings you've woken up tired before the day even began. All the times you blamed your willpower. All the plans that turned into self-criticism. They were never failures. They were symptoms. Signals that your body was asking for alignment, not intensity. And now you're beginning to answer. You've discovered that the path to fat loss isn't paved with harder workouts. It's paved with steadier blood sugar, smarter timing, and self-compassion. You've learned that balance isn't weak, it's powerful. Because once your metabolism is in rhythm, your life follows suit. So tomorrow, when you wake and the world feels quiet again, you'll know. You don't need to chase the storm anymore. You've found the rhythm beneath it. And this time, you're moving with it, not against it. The next morning begins in stillness again, but this time it feels intentional. You sit at the edge of your bed, hands resting on your knees, listening to your own breathing. No rush, no phone, just that quiet pulse. The rhythm of a body learning peace. There's no panic about burning calories. You're not punishing yesterday. You're simply tuning in. You stand, stretch, and step into the kitchen. The air smells faintly of coffee. Not necessity, but ritual. It's become something gentle, not desperate. You cook the same breakfast, protein, greens, healthy fat. But now you notice the subtle changes. Your mind feels clear. Your thoughts aren't racing toward food. You feel somehow grounded. And that's the strange magic of balance. It's invisible at first, but when it arrives, everything feels quietly right. Inside you, the orchestra of hormones has changed. Cortisol, once spiking from skipped meals and overtraining, has softened. Insulin, once screaming for control, is now whispering, steady and precise. Leptin and ghrelin, your hunger signals, finally speak the same language again. Your body is not fighting you anymore. It's listening. It's trusting. And trust is the first step in any transformation. When you stabilize blood sugar long enough, you begin to unlock something extraordinary: metabolic flexibility. It's your body's ability to switch seamlessly between using glucose and fat for energy. That flexibility is the hallmark of true metabolic health. When it's gone, you are trapped in a single lane, sugar burning, forever hungry, forever tired. But when it returns, you gain freedom. You can go hours without eating. You don't crash when you miss a snack. Your body burns fat naturally, quietly, efficiently, without drama. And that's the point. Real fat loss isn't loud. It's not sweat and punishment. It's the quiet recalibration of your body's chemistry. You notice the difference in small ways. Midday meetings no longer bring the usual slump. You can focus, think clearly, even smile without that hollow, jittery exhaustion behind your eyes. Lunch becomes simple. Protein, fiber, slow carbs. You finish satisfied, not stuffed. And when afternoon hunger arrives, it's no longer a craving. It's just a whisper. Time to refuel. Later, at the gym, something shifts. You move not to erase what you ate, but to express what your body can now do. The weights feel lighter. Your breath feels deeper. The effort, finally, feels like partnership. This is what most health advice misses: the symphony between movement and metabolism. Exercise isn't a punishment for eating, it's a translator. It tells your body what to do with food. When you move after a meal, even a gentle walk, you tell your muscles, use this energy. You redirect glucose from storage to fuel. You flatten the spike. You lower insulin. And you teach your body that food is not danger, it's direction. That single act, a walk after eating, can change your metabolic destiny. Researchers call it the second meal effect. When you move after eating, your blood sugar from that meal, and even the next one, stays lower. It's as if your body remembers. Your cells adapt. Your insulin sensitivity rises. And slowly, over days, your metabolism begins to rewrite itself. You're not fixing your body. You're reminding it how to function. There's a moment later that week, maybe a Friday, when you catch your reflection in a window. You pause, not because you look drastically different, but because you feel different. The heaviness is gone. That invisible pressure, the guilt, the noise, the constant chatter of diets and shoulds, it's fading. You realize, maybe for the first time in years, you're not chasing perfection. You're learning peace. And peace, when sustained long enough, becomes transformation. Inside every cell, the change is measurable. Mitochondria, your energy factories, multiply. They become stronger, more efficient. Your muscles hold more glycogen, which means you can work harder, longer. Your liver stops flooding the bloodstream with excess sugar. Your pancreas takes a breath. It doesn't need to overproduce insulin anymore. And your fat cells, they begin to shrink, not because you starve them, but because your body finally knows it can access them again. That's the beauty of stabilization. Your metabolism becomes intelligent. And the irony? It's never about perfection. You'll still have the dessert. You'll still have the late dinner sometimes. But now, you understand balance. You know how to buffer, to walk, to move, to pair carbs with fiber and fat. You know how to anchor your meals in protein. You know that one bad meal can't undo days of stability because you're no longer living in reaction. You're living with rhythm. Dinner has become your favorite time of day. You cook slowly, mindfully, not counting, not measuring, just sensing. You eat with calm. You finish with gratitude. And then you move. A quiet walk, a stretch, a moment under the fading light. That movement isn't just habit, it's conversation. Your body and your metabolism in sync. You realize something profound. The timing of food matters as much as the food itself. Morning, protein and fat to anchor your glucose. Midday, balanced meals for sustained energy. Evening, carbs after movement. When your muscles are hungry, receptive, and ready to store energy as glycogen, not fat. That's the carb timing secret. Eat carbs when your body can use them, not when it's idle. And when you align your eating with your movement, when you live by rhythm, not reaction, something unlocks inside you. You stop fearing food. You stop fearing your body. And for the first time in your adult life, you feel in control, not by force, but by understanding. This is freedom, not the loud, adrenaline-fueled freedom of extremes, but the quiet, confident kind that comes from harmony, the kind that whispers, "You're finally home in your body." Morning sun, slow coffee, deep breathing, strength in stillness, movement without pressure, days that feel consistent, not chaotic, hunger that feels peaceful, not panicked, energy that doesn't collapse mid-afternoon. This is the life that blood sugar stability builds. One decision, one meal, one step at a time. And the weight that once defined your struggle, it becomes just a number. Because now, you measure your health by how you feel, not how you fear. So if you take one lesson from this, let it be this. Exercise alone won't fix your blood sugar or your waistline. Because your metabolism is not a battle to win. It's a rhythm to rediscover. And when you finally align with that rhythm, when you eat with timing, move with intention, and rest without guilt, you don't just lose weight. You lose confusion. You lose fatigue. You lose the chaos that once ruled your days. And what remains is clarity, energy, freedom, a body that trusts you, a mind that forgives you, and a life that finally feels your own again.